What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from AnimeUproar, and wow, this is the craziest development in the Wano arc yet. Make sure to stay tuned for this one. If you enjoy seeing these One Piece chapter reviews and want to keep them coming, the best thing you can do is show One Piece some love by smashing that like button, turning it blue, and sharing this video. And if you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or you will miss future chapter reviews as we wait for the next chapter to drop, which looks like it will be in 2 weeks. You can check out my One Piece playlist with videos about the Yonko, Warlord, Supernovas, and more. Feel free to leave suggestions for other videos you would like to see in the comments. Obviously, there will be spoilers here. I'm covering chapter 984 after all. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. Remember the last chapter, Yamato appeared to one-shot Ulti and run away with Luffy. Luffy gave one of the most satisfying punches to Page 1's dinosaur form, but Page 1 seems to be fine here as he tells Sis Ulti to pull it together. There's mention of getting a doctor, and Page 1 tells some underlings to not let Luffy and Yamato out of their sight. The Flying Six member wants to know where they end up so that he can catch up to them and make sure they don't get away. Clearly, Page 1 is doing really well after what looked like a devastating KO punch to the jaw. The surrounding beast pirates are pretty concerned about Page 1 understandably, but you gotta respect Page 1. He just passingly comments on how Luffy almost dislocated his jaw, and the observers are shocked that he's only annoyed after such a hit. Keep in mind, Luffy is the supernova with the highest bounty, the so-called 5th Emperor, and the man who wants to take down Kaido and the other Yonko. And Page 1 is fine after a solid Haki-enhanced punch from point-blank range. It just keeps surprising me how much Oda is building up the Beast Pirates compared to Luffy during these early moments. Page 1 is not even close to being the strongest member of the Beast Pirates, and yet he's fine after Luffy's punch. Oda is definitely building up some huge suspense and making us ask ourselves, how can Luffy possibly take down Kaido and his whole overpowered crew if he can't even keep Page 1 down? I'm not saying Luffy gave it his all, but still, it's impressive how unfazed Page 1 is. In the meantime, Ulti gets up violently, calling the medics butchers and telling them to get off of her. You can't help but feel sorry for these poor guys just trying to do their jobs and probably getting pushed around for it. And you know they don't have a union or anything. Kaido ain't allowing no union. But the important thing for us here is that Ulti is up and energetic. She looked like she was out cold, but she seems back to normal now. She's hugging Pei fiercely as she tends to do. Page 1 tells her to rest if she needs it, but it doesn't look like she does. She calls out Yamato, letting us know that he's using Kaido's Thunder Bagua. She suggests that Yamato shouldn't be trying to roll with the grown-ups, although he definitely proved that he can with his hit. Even Page 1 notes at this point that Ulti seems fine, and Ulti insults the power behind Yamato's hit. Bagua means 8 trigrams, and she says that Yamato's hit was more like a Sigua, meaning 4 rather than 8. In this way, she lets us know that it was at best half as strong as Kaido's attack and probably even weaker. The point is, it's nowhere close to the real thing. This makes sense too because Luffy clearly couldn't just bounce back like nothing happened after Kaido hit him the way Ulti bounced back here. Although there was room last chapter to believe that Yamato was super OP, here we are getting a better sense of his own limits, especially when compared to his father. As Page 1 rushes off when told that Luffy and Yamato have stopped moving, some bystanders observe how crazy tough the dinosaur zones are. And yeah, they do seem to have a special level of endurance even among zones, which makes sense since a dinosaur would be harder to take down than a cat or bunny, for example. The original huge size of most dinosaurs and their thick reptile-like skin seems to magnify their defensive capabilities, whether they're in human or dino form. And I love learning about all of these subcategories of zones like mythical, ancient, carnivorous, and dinosaur, and how they all compare and contrast with one another. It's a little detail, but it's fascinating stuff. We jump to Luffy and finally he's fighting back against Yamato, which makes sense. It doesn't look good when the future king of pirates is just being carried off by his enemy's son willingly, so it's good to see him actually questioning it. Luffy rationally points out that he's not just gonna drop everything he's doing to follow someone he doesn't know. Luffy is attacking while Yamato is on the defensive, trying to calm Luffy down and get him to listen to what he has to say. He wants to talk to him away from the eyes of other people. Some beast pirates mentioned that they were supposed to stop Yamato, but they obviously have no chance. Not only is Yamato a beast, but Luffy's fighting means they can't even approach them without getting hurt. It looks like Yamato is starting to get annoyed when he calls Luffy a stubborn little ... But then, he says something interesting. He says, "This reminds me all the more of him, of our fights together." I was wondering who he meant when I read this, and we know that Ace used to be here, and his memory has played a big role in this arc. So I thought that it could be Ace that he's referring to. Unfortunately, we don't get any confirmation here. A huge explosion caused by the fighting takes place, and by the time page 1 arrives, the Beast Pirates have to admit that they have lost sight of the two fugitives. We then jump to the stage where our little man Momonosuke is being held captive and is about to be publicly executed like his father or the Pirate King himself. He's definitely in good company at least. Orochi the Hateable uses his snail mic to let everyone know that Momonosuke traveled 20 years into the future using the power of Oden's wife Toki. He calls her a witch, insulting Momonosuke's mom as he's getting prepared to execute the kid. Obviously, to some, this sounds pretty outlandish. They believe that the Kozuki were wiped out a long time ago. We see Robin and Jinbei, who obviously were able to maintain their undercover disguises unlike Luffy and Zoro. It's actually pretty funny despite the fact that it's a dire situation. One of the guys says, "Isn't that right, boys?" to Jinbei while patting the ex-warlord on his shoulder. And Jinbei plays along saying, "Wahahaha, sure is, you got it." End quote. I don't know why, but Jinbei in disguise is very funny to me. Robin's very fine self plays along, saying she'd like to dig out Momonosuke's eyes, but she's actually worried AF. She can't stand seeing Momonosuke like this, and Jinbei hopes that Robin can stay strong long enough for the samurai to make their move. We are then told that the infiltration force have successfully infiltrated the banquet, while Law and his friends use Law's ability to get to the rear entrance. Law's powers are called an incredible jutsu, and having just made a Naruto video about the Uchihas, I can't help but appreciate that use of terminology. We get an important meetup of forces and the reunion of the siblings Izo and Kiku. Marco mentions seeing a strange shadow on the sea and he's going to check it out. And that's probably Perospero, so we have that confrontation to look forward to. Kawamatsu brightens up when he sees Nekomamushi, and that's when Nekomamushi says they made a pit stop to pick up Izo, which makes sense because he's from Wano and would obviously be a perfect Whitebeard pirate for the job. Kiku's teary reaction is very touching, and Izo points out how Kiku's become a splendid samurai. Izo is clearly the older sibling here, maintaining his composure, but it's clear that this is a special moment for him too. We then interrupt the family reunion and jump to Kaido. Kaido's told that Big Mom is coming, and Kaido says that he'll make the announcement alongside Momonosuke's execution. I'm guessing this announcement has to be more than just a confirmation about their alliance between the two crews, even though it seems to be related to Big Mom, but more on that later. We get some interesting observations about Kaido's Yonko presence. Even his own underlings say that the mood gets so heavy when he shows up. They fear their boss, who's surrounded by his 3 all-stars. He says he's gonna spice up the lame execution, somewhat firing shots at Orochi, with something interesting. He mentions the new Onigashima initiative, and then we jump places again, which kind of sucks because we want to know what he's gonna say so bad. Oda leaves us wondering for now though. In the attic, we got Luffy and Yamato. It would be funny seeing Luffy just break through the ceiling and land on the platform right in front of Kaido and the All-Stars, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Luffy agrees to give Yamato 5 minutes so he can explain himself and what he wants. We learned that Kaido beat up Yamato before for saying he wanted to be Kozuki Oden. Yamato reveals that 20 years ago, he was there and saw the legendary hour-long execution. Yamato was so frustrated that they killed a one-of-a-kind samurai like Oden that he cried. Then Yamato found Oden's journal and treated it like a Bible. And shout out to Oden for proving that keeping a journal is boss-type behavior. With the red scabbards gone, Yamato felt like he was going to carry on Oden's will. Then the mask drops. Luffy's shocked, saying he thought Yamato was Kaido's son. Yamato explains that she became a man because Oden was a man. Yamato comments that Luffy is really strong and that he hasn't even gotten serious yet. So Yamato wants them to join forces and reopen the country, just like Oden wanted. Yamato is reintroduced as the daughter of Kaido and self-proclaimed Kozuki Oden. This means that she's not only inherited Oden's will, but clearly she was also so inspired by him as to take it to an extreme and call herself Kozuki Oden, which is very interesting. I quoted Kamina from Gurren Lagann in a previous video, saying that real men don't die even when they're killed, and that is exactly what's happened with Oden. Not only has his will carried on, but even his name was carried on by his rival's daughter. You know you're a legend when you can inspire someone this much, let alone your rival's child. And you also know you're a legend when you turn that like button blue, so you're either a legend already, and I congratulate you, or you can decide to be a legend at any moment. As if Yamato being a pretty daughter wasn't enough of a shock, she also mentions that Luffy reminds her of Ace. So I was right in assuming that she was referring to Ace earlier. I really like how this arc has been a kind of tribute to Ace and his adventures in a way. He's gone, but his story continues for us and for Luffy. When Luffy says what, that might as well be our own what at this moment. We are all rightly shocked. This chapter was crazy and put everything we learned before in a new light. Yamato, I googled it, is more commonly a Japanese name for males, but it can be a name for females. So this possibility was always right there in front of us. And now when we think about how she said that Kaido beat her up, it was always messed up, but it's even more messed up now because she was his daughter. Yamato has Kaido's horns, but in appearance, she looks more like Charlotte Pudding than Kaido. Obviously, this can just be female characters looking alike, but is it possible that she is the daughter of Big Mom and Kaido? And is that the announcement, or is she not related but gonna get wed to someone like Katakuri in order to solidify the alliance? We can't be sure. What did Kaido mean by the initiative he mentioned? Obviously, let me know your theories in the comments below. Big Mom did say that Kaido owed her in the past, and some people thought it was because she looked after Katakuri, who might have been Kaido's son. But maybe it's because she let him keep Yamato. Just random thoughts thrown out there. There are a million things happening at once, so let me know if I missed something, but wow, things are so crazy right now. I cannot wait to see what happens next, or to see Sanji react to Yamato's appearance. It looks like Kozuki Oden is back, although not in the flesh. Nevertheless, Kozuki Oden lives, and there is hope for Wano yet. And that is it for this chapter review. Let me know what you thought of it and what you think will happen next. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button, turn it blue. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or you will miss future One Piece videos. Check out the One Piece playlist, link in the description, to kill some time as we wait for the next chapter to come out, which looks like it will be in 2 weeks. Also, if you want me to make a specific One Piece video that you'd like to see in the playlist, leave your suggestions in the comments below. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.